Robots Radio presents
Fresh Tomatoes, the movie podcast.
I'm not usually a hat fan, but wow.
Jeg vil ikke være en dagger.
I'm really sipping on that dumb bitch juice today, and
Yeah, I am. But you know what? Someday I just might grow out of that, but you will never stop being a jerk.
All chocolate cakes are good. You're a fascist.
it's hideous.
It's horrible.
It's home. Angry white boy, let's go! Hello, and welcome to Fresh Tomatoes, the movie podcast. The seemingly harmless sweet treat that packs a punch. That's Chad Eccles.
And that's Simone LaRue with just the most acute intro we've ever had on this podcast.
I'm feeling cute today. You can see me, and I guess our YouTube listeners can too. I got my hair did. It's looking, I'm back as a blonde.
Yeah,
full
looking
time.
fire. Getting ready.
Yeah. And then I've been testing out makeup for a friend's wedding, and I got a new palette that I was like, maybe I should
lovely.
figure out how to use it before the wedding day, because I'm in the bridal party, so my picture will definitely be taken.
Oh, definitely.
And so I'm looking like my skin's looking dewy.
You're looking fresh. You're looking well fresh. Like this is peak Simone right here. This is damn caliente, as the kids call it.
Oh, thank you.
Whereas
anyway, long story short, I'm feeling great.
You look great. You look fantastic.
Thanks.
This is amazing. This is the best glow up ever. You know, if we look back at where we were this time last year, and it was just doom and gloom, and look at
Just
you now,
the
like
bags
proper
under
glow
our
up.
eyes.
Proper glow up. It's fantastic. I love it. I'm so happy for you.
Hat.
Yes,
I love it.
I've proper gone sort of like homely. I would call myself sort of the grandmother today, because for our YouTube listeners, I'm surrounded in my blanket. I've got a nice woolly jumper on, and under that I've got another jumper on, and under that I've got a long sleeve t-shirt on.
So Chad's really still not turned on his heat.
I refuse. It costs so much, Simone. I've got my nice little peppermint tea here, and I've got my Santa Claus hat on. Just
Look at
grandma.
him.
Yeah, I might go scold some youths later.
I like that the Santa hat actually serves the dual purpose of being festive and keeping your head warm.
I'm
as
keeping
you
it on
refuse to
after
turn on your heat.
Yeah, I'm keeping it on after the podcast ends, without a question.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Walking around like an old-timey Victorian man. Will you change into a long shirt?
Yes, I should definitely do that. Could you imagine if I have a Scrooge Christmas? Like the ghost of Christmas past comes, and it's like great because like it's really awkward because I'm actually like really nice and like quite sociable, and then there's like loads of people at my funeral and things, and the ghost of Christmas future is like, I did not read the memo.
Oh, yeah, you're actually dead on, man. You're doing great.
Yeah, like just keep on going what you're doing, and I'm just like, yeah. But that would be a good Christmas. But this week we are doing a very bad Christmas, being our Christmas horror week. And what are the two movies that we chose for this wonderful Christmas horror?
So first of all, I was quite horrified to learn that in spite of the festive connotations, these movies actually have very little to do with Christmas.
Yes.
So that's on us, guys.
This is cheerleading all over again.
Mea culpa. But we are doing Gingerdead Man and Gingerdead Man 2, Passion of the Crust.
Oh, it's just... I mean, to be fair, okay, really big stretch here, like conservative politician level stretch here, but Passion of the Crust, Jesus Christ, Christmas, like there is a little bit of a connection there.
I'm with you. I think gingerbread is inherently festive. So
that very much.
Like, sure, this isn't like exactly a Christmas movie, but
it's in the realm.
We'll get to where we're going. Speaking of though, what is your favorite baked Christmas treat?
You beat me to the punch there, because I was going to ask you the same thing. So, would you count mince pies as a baked Christmas treat?
Absolutely.
Then that would be my baked Christmas treat.
They're so
of choice.
festive.
They're so festive. They're so versatile. You can have them cold by themselves. You can have them hot by themselves. You can have them hot with ice cream, custard, or as we found out from you the other week, a heavy cream. Like fantastic. It's such a versatile little snack. You can have it before. It doesn't have to be a dessert. It can be in the middle. It can be an aperitif. It's everything. It is the heartiness of Christmas.
I once made a like a starter for Christmas that was puff pastry wrapped around a big slice of camembert and fruit mints on top.
Ooh, lovely.
Delicious. So
That
tasty.
sounds incredible, especially with like the saltiness of the cheese. What a win.
Yeah, especially with like a nice camembert, like nothing better.
Nothing better.
I'm not the hugest mince pie fan. Like I'll eat one, but I don't like, they're not something I like go out and buy or like make for myself. You know what I mean?
Okay, fair enough. I understand that. I understand that completely. So what is your Christmas baked goods or holiday baked goods of choice?
I mean, my mom's Christmas cake always comes in at number one. I hate Christmas cake every other day of the year, but in like the 5 days sort of on either side of Christmas, I'm like in it.
You're there.
And my mom, like, she goes whole hog. She starts her Christmas cakes in October and then just feeds them brandy all the way up until Christmas. So you can get slammed off a slice of that stuff.
So basically her cake
delicious.
is like 90% booze and then like 5% you know, carb,
as it should be. It's so delicious. I don't know, she makes them every year. She's made them this year, and I was lovely. Just but they're all the way in Portugal, so I can't
how
my
rude.
mom's. I've actually still got the half of the one from last year in my freezer, and I'm like debating whether it's safe.
I mean, it should be safe. It will be interesting because obviously, as you know, being a scientist, you know, alcohol doesn't really freeze. So it's probably going to have sunk to the bottom of the cake. So you're going to get like a dry-ish cake on top. And then as soon as you eat that final bottom piece,
you know what?
As
it thaws, I'll just keep flipping it.
Like a rotisserie chicken, but it's a rotisserie cake.
Otherwise, I love a nice gingerbread cookie. Actually.
That was actually going to be my second question for you, is whether you like gingerbread.
Yeah, I like gingerbread. I prefer like ginger snaps, to be honest.
Okay.
Something a little bit thinner, crisper. But yeah, I think ginger, I mean, it tastes exactly like Christmas. Like that's what Christmas is supposed to taste like.
You're absolutely right. You see, my issue is like I get very overwhelmed with the taste of gingerbread. So like I need like half a gingerbread man, like a gingerbread child would be perfect for me. Like,
I think both of us aren't like huge sweet tooths anyway. Like you and I are both savory, salty bitches.
Love a good pie.
Yeah. So honestly, for me, like most desserts, like 2-3 bites, and I am like
and you're
happy.
Done.
Yeah.
No, I get you completely. I mean, I remember it might have been like 2 years ago. Starbucks came out with a gingerbread latte, and that was exceptional. That was one of the best tasty. Christmas lattes of all time. It was so good.
Starbucks is slowly taking over Cape Town. Well, not taking over, but it's popping up in more and more places around Cape Town. And I refuse out of principle because their coffee is terrible.
Yes, they burn the beans on purpose. It's outrageous.
Oh, it's disgusting. No wonder you have to pump it full of sugar to make it taste good. Anyway, I just refuse. There's like Cape Town has a fantastic coffee culture with like genuinely like world-class baristas. Like, why am I going to Starbucks?
Exactly. It's more for the name than anything. Than like you clearly don't like coffee if you go to Starbucks. Like that's just a fact.
Exactly. What are you drinking? Shall we move swiftly along?
Yes, let's move swiftly along.
I'm sure people are anxious to hear how much we loved Gingerdead, man.
Of course. So today I'm drinking what I call White Woman at a Tennis Club on Summer's Day.
Oh.
So just from the name, what do you guess that is? It's not a cocktail, just warning you now. It's just like 2 ingredients. But what do you think that is?
White Woman at a Tennis Club.
On a summer's day.
Is it like a gin and lemonade combination?
Yes, spot on, Simone. Very well done. But what makes it White Woman on a Summer's Day at a Tennis Club is that it's pink gin and it's diet lemonade.
Love that for you. Yep.
So after this, I'm going to go and chat to my rich husband, who is a Kennedy. And then, and then we're going to play a game of doubles with the Hamptons. And then we're going to go to our separate bedrooms and wish for a life that we never had.
I love that journey for you.
It's perfect. So what are you drinking?
I'm just having a plain old red wine. So, nice. I mean, I didn't pay very much for this. So this is not a fancy tennis club red wine.
Right.
This is, I would say, a dive bar red wine.
Nice.
But like you buy the nicer one on the menu.
Yes, not the one that's gonna like leave your teeth stained and your lips stained the next morning, and
not the one that's clearly just like they emptied all the half-empty wine bottles into one jug and they're pouring that as the house blend.
Hey,
I
reuse,
swear to God, I've
reduce,
seen
recycle.
it happen.
Really? No way.
Well, not
That's
seen it,
shocking.
but like, you know, you
you've
sip some
tasted
wine and
it.
you're like, this is not a blend that a human being made on purpose.
I think you should do your own sort of like documentary show where it's like a tour of the worst wine farms and worst wine places in South Africa.
I would love to do a
funny.
tour of divey pubs around South Africa. To be
it would
honest.
be so good.
And order like the cheapest glass of wine on every menu.
Yes. And give it like proper in-depth reviews, like go to the bartender, ask them to show you where they like get the wine from, then you go to the farm and you taste the grapes, and it's like really fucking Savannah-esque, like the grapes are dying on the vine, and it's just awful. It'll be so good. It's like, hello, welcome, my name is Simone LaRue, and today we're at Umzoli's.
No, I'm not pronouncing it correctly. I can't.
But the wine will just be as bad as my gentrification. Right, so we agreed that you would do Gingerdead 1, and I will follow up with Gingerdead 2. So I am excited to hear your plot, because there was one with this.
Yes, there was a plot, probably. Okay, our story opens with serial killer Millard Findelmeyer. He is shooting up a diner and he kills Sarah Lee, played by Robin Sidney. He kills her father and her brother before being caught by the police. She survives, obviously, and he is sent to the electric chair. Cut to, I guess, like a year later. Sarah Lee is working in her father's bakery that she now owns. She's still very sad that she, is struggling with the loss of her dad and her brother. She works with Brock Fields, played by Jonathan Chase, and the two of them are running the bakery, but they are struggling. The rich guy in town, Jimmy Dean, played by Larry Cedar, is trying to convince her to sell the bakery for a very low price because he wants to open up a restaurant across the way and he doesn't want her stealing his customers. She is refusing because this is the only link that she has back to her dad and her brother. One night she gets a mysterious package out the back door, but it's labeled gingerbread spice, and she's like, well, okay. This just so happens to be right after Millard Findelmeyer has died. Let's just say the spices look ashy. Her dumb assistant co-worker Brock cuts his hand. Some of it gets into the spice. They decide to still use it anyway, like it's never even a question. And she makes a gingerbread man for her bakery, just one single one in her industrial sized oven. Oh no. The spirit of Millard Findelmeyer, still voiced by Gary Busey, is back in gingerbread form, and he's here to wreak havoc around the bakery. Shenanigans ensue. In comes Lorna Dean, Jimmy Dean's daughter, played by Alexia Ailman. She's there to try and convince Sarah to sell the bakery by planting a rat in there so the price goes down. Her boyfriend comes through. He's what's his name? Ryan Locke, played by Amos Cadbury. He's like a bad boy, and Lorna doesn't really like him. She just likes being seen with him, but actually Ryan and Sarah Amos Cadbury is his name. His name's
Ryan
Locke
yes.
plays Amos
Played
Cadbury.
Yes.
I'm so sorry.
Yes. I thought it was the other way around too. Like when you said that, it made complete sense.
I mean,
absolutely.
But now Amos Cadbury is a ridiculous name, so it does make sense. Sarah and Amos are kind of hitting it off, kind of vibing. Meanwhile, everyone's dying around them. The phone lines have been cut. Sarah's cell phone doesn't work. They couldn't possibly call the police, even though it's very clear that they're able to get in and out of the bakery constantly, and they just stay there. Yeah, eventually, Brock returns from WrestleMania, where he was watching and participating as an amateur wrestler called the Butcher Baker, and he finally wrestles the Gingerdead man into submission and eats him. You'd think problem solved, but oh no, now
No.
Millard is just possessing Brock. Oh no, Brock, brick.
Is it not Brock? That's outrageous.
No, it's Brick. Now he's possessing Brick, and he wreaks havoc for a while, and then eventually they manage to shove him into the oven, and Millard is no more. Or is he?
Ooh.
The end.
The end. So what is your cliffhanger for this bad boy?
I'm so tired. I guess my cliffhanger is this one, and it's the cliffhanger of the movie, which is at the end. Someone's like, oh, you know, you never, like, something about treats, and you never know how a box of something can cheer you up, some shit like that. I forget what it is, but it's a ridiculous line, like everything.
Like everything in this film. I mean, like, yeah, this one, I you know, in the grander context, I enjoyed this one sort of, you know, when I sat down to watch this and I saw that it was an hour long, I was like, yes, this is great.
Perfect.
Usually for a podcast where the movies are usually like 2 hours, not because they need the time to fill, but because the movies are terrible. Like having an hour-long movie, great. That's exactly what I need.
Flawless,
just yeah, wonderful. Plus, like the ridiculousness of it just like made me really happy until obviously the second one, and then I saw it in its entirety, and I was like, oh, they weren't trying to be ridiculous. This is all just awful.
Yeah. They just weren't trying.
Yeah. So I mean, like. This movie is so frustrating in a host of different ways. Like you said in the opening in your synopsis, like they bleed directly into the dough, and everyone's like, "Yep, absolutely fine, not a problem."
They don't even question it. They don't even question it. And also, he cuts his hand and then turns and holds it over the box.
Yes,
like the floor is right there. Just bleed onto the floor.
Yes, absolutely ridiculous, outrageous.
And at no point is she like, "Oh, we should like this is a serious food safety issue. You've just bled into this."
Yeah, exactly. It's very, very strange. And then not only that, when the delivery gets delivered, when the ashes of the dead guy get delivered, it's Sarah sees the woman walking behind the corner, and she's in a fucking cape and hood.
Yeah.
Like that's no baker. Like she even says, "Oh, there was a delivery. The delivery man was here." And it's like, no, you clearly know that's evil. Like everyone knows anyone wearing a cape and a hood is evil.
And it's like, and you're a bakery. Like, surely you have your own cinnamon and ginger and cloves and nutmeg and cardamom or whatever else you put in your gingerbread. Like, well, why are you buying a premix? No wonder your bakery's going under if this is the level of laziness.
Absolutely. And speaking of laziness, she doesn't even know what her inventory is. She just like picks up a package and it's just like, yep, I guess I
ordered this. Who's running this business?
Yeah.
Girl, just let
on.
the dude buy it off you. You're clearly bad at it. She bakes one gingerbread man. And it's like 6 p.m. Like, what's the
plan? And it's giant. Like, who's gonna buy that big gingerbread man? Like, who wants that? Is she making
like a window display? Or I don't know. I was just like, girl, you're a mess.
She is a mess. What did we think of the actual Gingerdead man himself, or itself rather?
I think, you know, after Leprechaun, now I'm sure this is not a genre I like.
No,
I really don't enjoy this like creature feature of some ridiculous thing running around cackling and killing people. Like I find it intensely annoying.
It's very, very tiresome. Like, you know, at least in the Leprechaun, you know, for the first like 10-15 minutes, I really appreciated the legality puns and stuff. Well, yes, and the legality of it. I mean, that gets me excited all over. But it was more like the puns as well. Like when they were murdering, it's sort of like, oh, no one's going to get my lucky charms, and it's like stab, cool, that's fine, that's funny as hell.
Fun, yeah.
But this one, it was all like, oh yeah, get me in my sweet box. And it was like really sexual. Like
It was
just
very gross.
really
And it's
weird.
Gary Busey. Like I did not, okay,
Yes.
first of all, I did not expect to see any famous people in this.
No.
And then it starts and like first scene, I was like, is that
Yeah.
is that Gary Busey?
What I love about this as well is he wasn't even top billing. Like, if you watch the ridiculous credits for this, he's like the last name that comes up, and it's like, what the fuck?
I guess it was supposed to be like, and the big star, like on a stage show or something, you know, the leads come out last.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
yikes.
Wow. Yeah, Gary Busey did not have a good day with this one. This is a poor choice, even
Okay,
for Gary
but tell me,
Busey.
Chad, wouldn't you, as an aging actor, like you've done your serious roles, you've done your fun roles, you know, you're just coasting now, you've got enough royalties to live the rest of your life in comfort and harmony. And they're like, hey, we want you to play a possessed, murderous baked good.
Yep. You're absolutely
snap
right,
it up.
actually. Sorry. Yeah, they wouldn't even have to finish that sentence. I would just, possessed. Yep, I'm in. Done. Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. And I think that is one of the joys of when you've been a character actor for so long in some big names and big movies and stuff, is that you can live off those royalties. And then after that, you're just gonna have fun with your
You do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, what a dream that would be. I wouldn't be surprised if in a couple of years we start to see like Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt doing just the most ridiculous roles. And I would be
I'm
so
excited. I'm excited for Brad Pitt's foray into horror, to be honest.
Yes.
Like, I mean, he's been there before. He can come back. Come back to us,
Yes.
Brad.
But in ridiculous ways. Like, I want to see him as like a possessed Christmas hat. I want to see him voicing Clifford the big red dog, where he barks. He doesn't even have a word.
Clifford to me.
Simone, he grows with the love that you feel in your heart. I know he would be the size of a newt for you cold Grinch.
Wow, okay. I got defensive very quickly.
He's a giant red dog, Simone. Come on.
I just don't think that a live action movie was necessary, but
definitely
I guess
not.
they have to
Definitely
revive the IP.
Yeah, that's very, very true. But I mean, we're probably gonna watch it. Well, at least I will.
You will.
I will. Yeah, so what else can really be said about this movie?
You know, if you think about it, really, this movie is just a romance that's vaguely interrupted by a gingerbread man.
Yes.
You know, Sarah and Amos, like they lock eyes.
Oh, they hit it
and
off.
They hit it off. You know, good for those two crazy kids.
Like, I wish them the best of luck. I hope that they can get it together throughout the rest of their time together in Texas. It's a lovely romance. You're absolutely right.
Good for them. Good for them.
Because like you said, I mean, the Gingerdead man is actually very little inconvenience. Like, only one person dies. One person dies.
And then he like chops off another gal's fingers.
Yeah.
No, two people died. Two people died. The rich guy and then the rich gal, his daughter.
Yes.
The old lady, like God knows he tries to kill her enough times, but she is preserved purely on booze.
Exactly. And then the wonderful Hispanic baker who was also in the place, she just gets, you know, decorated in a really sexual way as well. Yeah. Like, she gets stabbed, but then she's decorated and she's fine because she's put in a freezer. Like, in effect, the Gingerdead man is actually a pretty shitty killer.
He's not great. I mean, I guess they try to rectify it with more interesting kills in the second one, which we will get into. But yeah, unless he's pretty tame, actually.
Yeah, he's a very chill killer. Like, he's just after like to terrorize Sarah, and he doesn't do a great job at that even. So,
the main thing that horrified me was when Brick's like eating him, which like I don't know if that would be my first approach for like a living sentient gingerbread man. But like there's stuff inside of him. Like it's gory.
It's gooey. Yeah, it's very nasty. I was proper grossed out by that scene. It was
power
nasty.
to Brick for carrying on through it, but my guy.
Actually, you know, like in the original seasons of Survivor and stuff, and I'm sure even into the later seasons, when they would like force them to eat things, I think like this would be a really wonderful genre of that challenge, where it's like, oh, just a simple gingerbread man, please eat it, come on down, contestant, and then they eat it and it's like a gooey center.
Bleeds.
Yeah, it bleeds. That would do me. Like, I would rather eat like a
Ugh.
bug than that.
Imagine
Like, the
biting into a
consistency.
biscuit and there's just like meat in the middle.
No, that would throw me off. Like, I would rather take a sheep's eyeball because I know the consistency.
Yeah,
I
you know
what it's
what
gonna
you're getting
be.
into.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, no, the texture and congruency would really fuck with me.
Yeah, absolutely. So, do you have a golden nugget for this one? I mean, it was
Oh,
tough.
I do, Chad, but it's
Oh,
ironic.
okay. Oh, okay. I love it.
My favorite thing in this whole movie is the terrible sign above the bakery. They show several establishing shots of the front of the bakery,
Yes.
and the sign is horrific. It
Yes.
looks like a third grader made it. It's like it just says bakery across. It's diagonal across, but not like a centered diagonal, like kind of off center,
off kilter. Yeah.
And then there's like a big ass B, and then someone kind of ran out of space towards the end, and it's like someone tried to make bubble letters. They're not good.
No.
I'm fascinated by this choice.
You know, there are so many great choices in this, just like that. It is great. I thought when they opened up, like, and they showed that first establishing shot of the bakery, and it said Betty's Bakery. I thought it said Belly's Bakery because it's just so badly done.
It's terrible.
It's awful. And then speaking of the sign, you've just reminded me of one of my favorite parts of the film. So obviously, you know, the rich guy has the bakery on the other side of the road, and the drunk mom comes out with a shotgun, and she shoots at the sign with a shotgun from across the road, and it precisely just clips the edge of the sign, causing it to fall down. No property damage, no shattered windows, just like with a shotgun, the least precise of all weapons. She is able to get that. Like, good on her. Good drunk aiming. Very impressive. Yeah. So I completely agree. It's a fascinating movie from a study of budget more than anything.
And then I'm endlessly fascinated by Sarah's choice to make one gingerbread man at 6 p.m. in the evening for her whole bakery. Yeah.
Maybe all the kids in the town.
I love it. I love everything about this. It was just none of it was thought through. They were like, nah, it's a gingerbread man that kills people. And then they just ran with that and didn't think about anything else.
Yeah, it's very much, I can imagine, you know, when we were talking on our daughter's rom-com week about how Ashton Kutcher was like supposed to be a creative person who would just come out with the ideas for a movie, for a book. And he was going to be hired as a creative on that. That's what this film felt like. It was like someone was given the chance to create an idea and then had no sort of you know, logic with how it's going to go.
Exactly like the Christmas Prince's understanding of how journalism works.
Exactly. So it was just, just going to run with it.
Yeah, I'm just going to close my bakery at 6.
Yeah. After making one giant gingerbread man. Insanity. Yeah. My golden nugget has to be
please.
Angus, or whatever his name is, Abernathy, Richard Locke, whatever his name is, the love interest.
Amos,
thank you. Amos is spectacular because he's like this badass guy who's actually really sensitive and sweet and like really romantic. His is the most genuine performance in this whole movie. And
he's actually, I was like, I could see it.
Yeah, he's really cool. It's like, oh, I'm a badass, but actually I'm very sensitive. And I was like, yes, I can, yes, you are.
I can see that for you, Amos.
Yeah, and I loved him for that. And it was like, yeah, of course you're going to go for him, Sarah. He's the most eligible bachelor in this whole town.
Beautiful.
Yes, hit that.
Hit it hard, girl.
Yeah. And so I'm taking it you would never watch this again in your life, ever.
Yeah, no, I did not. I didn't have fun. It wasn't a fun time for me. I wish everyone who made this the best. But again, this is just clearly not my genre. Like, I think if this is the kind of thing you enjoy, like if you liked Leprechaun and you like Chucky or like other shit like that, like maybe this is for you. Like, it does not hit my brain right.
No, I completely agree with you. I feel, very weird about these movies, but you know what? There is someone out there who likes them, and God bless you. Go and try it out. But it's as well, dog. It's gonna be a no from me. definitely don't feel this, and yeah, not feeling that I would ever watch this again in under any circumstances whatsoever. I can't think of a single context in which I would watch this.
No, it's, I don't know. It wasn't even like so bad it was good. It was just,
Yeah, it was just bad all the way
Mm.
through. Yeah. Well, shall we now talk about an even worse film, if it can be possible?
so in context for our listeners, I really struggled to find a copy of this film that
Yes.
I could watch. And Chad came through this morning and he was like, "Oh, I found a version for you." And I was furious because I
Simone.
was really excited to not watch it.
Simone, I probably would have, because I watched this film already, I would have probably bought a copy and flown it to you today to watch, rather than let you get away with not having to watch this film when I have. So it was never going to happen. You were going to watch this movie by hook or by crook. I would have probably
I was going to hear
videoed-
that theme song.
Yes, you would. Which I think I think this episode has to end with it if we can. It might
Yeah.
be difficult, but if we can, we should end with that song.
Yeah, God.
Yeah. But
You know what? You're right.
no,
I agree.
I would have never, like, I probably would have made you watch it. I would have videoed it on my phone and made you watch it through WhatsApp, just like 5-minute piece at a time.
That's so nice of you. I mean, at least 2 of those 5-minute pieces would have been the fucking intro with that
Oh my
terrible
God.
song. So it was
Incredible.
so long. I was like, why am I actually sitting and watching this? I just skipped it.
Absolutely. Yeah, like I think the movie was 1 hour and 12 minutes long, and I think that was about 12 minutes of the movie was just a recap of the first movie and that song. Yeah.
Exhausting.
But let's find a plot,
Explain.
shall we?
Yeah, this was a little bit more complex plot-wise.
Yes.
So
Yes. But I like how you said complex, just not in existence. So, after the events of the first Gingerdead Man, this is a completely different movie. The only thing that ties the two movies together is that Sarah Lee, played by Robin Sidney, sends a box of cookies to her cousin in LA. The cousin is one Polly Bunderhoff, played by Michelle Bauer, who is a caterer on the set of Tiny Toys 9. This is the latest film from the production studios of Cheatham's Movies, which finds its USP in low-budget, outrageous horror films. Cheatham's is now being run by Kelvin Cheatham, played by Kevin Moetzi, who is the son of the founder of the studio. Unfortunately, the studio isn't doing too well right now. Under Kevin's leadership, the studio has gone broke, and the movies they are creating just don't contain the magic of the earlier films of the studio's heyday. To make matters worse, the script for Tiny Toys 9 has been leaked onto the internet, and critics such as Demon Hunter 13 are just tearing it apart. So, things get even worse when Polly opens the box of cookies from her cousin to see a gingerbread man. Ooh. No one takes notice of this, and the gingerbread man, who we know is the Gingerdead man, comes to life and starts to wreak havoc on the movie studio. The Gingerdead man now wants to perform a satanic ritual in order to get back into a human body. In order to do so, he must kill 5 people. As you can imagine, he is able to do this. There is no point in going into the murders because they're super dumb and pretty homophobic at points. So I'm just going to skip over that.
Extremely.
Unbelievable.
In fact, let's put a trigger warning just at the top here.
Yes,
Homophobia,
yes.
rape.
Abounds, yes, and rape. I'm sure we're going to go into it because it is just deplorable. But in the meantime, while all this is happening, Kelvin is joined by on set by Heather, played by Kelsey Sanders, and Tommy Hines, played by Joseph Porter. Heather works for Falling Rainbows, which is a charity that grants terminally ill children their dying wishes. Tommy's dying wish is to see Cheatham Studios, as he is such a big fan. As they go around the studio, Heather and Kelvin start to develop feelings for each other, and they eventually hook up. Once the Gingerdead man has finished killing the 5 people he needs, he starts to perform the ritual. All the while, Heather, Kelvin, and Tommy are trapped with the possessed cookie. Unfortunately, something goes wrong, and instead of putting him in a human body, he reanimates all of the puppets, which were the satanic stars of the Tiny Toys 9. In return for giving them the gift of sentience, the toys crucify the gingerbread man, and that's not a joke. They literally crucify him.
Hence,
That-
Passion of the
it's-
Crust.
Yeah, exactly. It fits with the title. Thank God they shoehorned that in.
Oh, I'm so glad.
I'm so happy. So at that point, one of the actors from the film comes around and shoots all the toys and the Gingerdead man with an AK-47, and they all die somehow. You would think this would be the end, but no. That's when Tommy reveals himself to actually be Demon Hunter 13. You know, that Chekhov's gun that we were all waiting for right at the beginning.
What?
It's nuts. So he was the critic who was slating the Cheatham's films. He now wants to kill Kelvin and Heather for good measure for what he did, what Kelvin did to Tommy's beloved film genre. Somehow, Heather is able to whack him in the head and he dies too. All seems right in the world until we see the final scene where a homeless person is wandering by the dumpsters of the studio. He is looking for some food when suddenly he stumbles upon the burned, shot, and crucified Gingerdead man. He takes a bite and boom, becomes the Gingerdead man, leaving room for the third installment of these movies, Gingerdead Man 3, Saturday Night Cleaver, the end.
I'm exhausted. There are so many of these movies, Chad.
I'm so glad that you didn't say we could do like a trilogy episode or whatever. I'm so glad you like limited us to the 2.
Me too. I'm very happy.
Could you imagine if we had to do number 3 and then there's a 4, which is about weed? He like mixes
versus
with
the bong.
Yeah,
Cool.
Gingerdead. Oh, it's funny because weed is very funny.
It sure is, Chad.
Love it. So I don't think it's fair to give you a cliffhanger for this one because it was so hard to find, but should you choose to want to use the one, it's this one, which is the throwaway line where he's talking to Heather, where Kelvin is talking to Heather, and he goes, that story is only half true. I was acquitted of all charges and they were dropped. And it's like, this whole movie is an issue in itself.
Oh my God.
I mean, I don't even know where to start, really. Like, tell me your initial thoughts. It's just all
very weird and deeply upsetting. Like in this, he masturbates while watching a couple have sex.
Oh,
a couple having sex, like that was clearly a very coercive situation where it was not consensual for the man, really. No. And then he kills a gay man by anally raping him with a curling iron. Moving
it's
on.
All awful.
It's horrific. It's not funny. You're just like, oh God, this was made more recently than I would like.
Yeah. You would think better of people by 2008, and the human race just keeps just throwing us these curveballs, and it's all wonderful.
Love this
for us. Yeah, it's wonderful. So I think the Gingerdead man in this one is a lot more creepy and a lot less fun. Like in the first one,
he's not fun.
No, in the first one he's like kind of cute and you're just like, oh, these are cute puns. In the second one it's just like really sexual and he's just fucking awful like the whole time, just like not appealing at all.
Like, I think some of the like success with some of the stuff is like you're a little bit cheering for the bad guy, right? Like in Leprechaun, you're like, yeah, he's kind of got a case actually, and these characters are dumb. Or in Chucky, even you're like, oh yeah, I see it. And then like this guy, you're just like, I mean, these characters are worse, but this guy is the worst.
Yeah, all of them are awful, and you can't root for anyone. Like, you don't want anyone to survive because they all suck, and you don't want the bad guy to kill everyone because he sucks just as bad.
And then so the opening scene is them like filming this terrible movie, and much like you, I was probably like, no, this is like a fake thing, like this is like a movie scene. And then like it was a very long one, like it was a very long scene, and like every second that passed I was like, oh God, is this the movie?
Yeah,
is this the acting that I'm going to have to deal with?
And I mean, in a way you were right, because the acting does not improve.
Didn't get much better. No, the practical effects were slightly better, I guess.
Absolutely. Like, I think the big thing for me, and what like I was just sitting there, and I think this is what sort of took me out of the movie, was I was just constantly like, why is any of this happening, and how does this relate to the first one, and how did the Gingerdead man come back? Like, all of it was just completely insane.
Yeah. And they didn't bother to explain it, which like I can respect, but I didn't love. Because like also part of the fun of this is like the lore, right?
Yes, exactly.
And there's none of that. There's none.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's the reason why you go back and watch like Halloween 1 is so that you can catch up on the lore so that by Halloween Kills, you
Yeah.
know the little details. With this, it's sort of like, oh, she's a cousin of the baker and the baker sent some baked goods, and that apparently is enough connection to start a second film. And you're like, what? No. How? Why? Why is he killing these people? Like the whole point of the Gingerdead Man 1 was that he wanted revenge on Sarah. There is literally no reason why he's killing these people in the second one.
No. Yeah. No, it makes no sense. He's just angry. I guess he wants a human form so he can go back and terrorize
and rob
Sarah.
Another small cafe.
I get so I don't know. I didn't understand the point of any of this. There was an animatronic penis that talked, and I can never unsee it.
No, that was awful. So for our listeners who I really hope will never watch this movie, I don't want to curse you with that. There is a possessed demonic dildo as one of the tiny toys.
Yeah.
And
there's another one called Shit for Brains that literally has shit
on its head.
Brains.
And it's all pretty great. It's all pretty funny stuff, really, if you think about it. It's all good comedy if you're
12.
So like the other thing that I wanted to ask you is like the B plot, the whole Kelvin and Heather of it all, and the tiny tots thing. So first of all, that guy is a grown adult, right? Like I wasn't imagining that kid was an adult.
He's a grown adult. I mean, I guess, grown adults should also get nice things too if they're struggling with an illness. And at first I was like, oh, maybe it's like a Gypsy Rose situation, like he's faking it and he's actually 30 when he's saying he's like 18 or whatever. But no, it was much worse. It was an angry reviewer.
Just like the beginning and conception of the whole incel movement was this guy.
Oh, absolutely. And also like he was in it for the long haul. Like Heather gives like a whole monologue about how she's taken him to so many conventions and fairs, and it's like, oh, so you've been faking it like for a while just to get onto this porous set that any asshole can walk onto?
Yeah, the gate is just open. There's no one like guarding it or nothing.
Like no one cares, guy.
Yeah, like you could just walk in and just shoot up everyone. Clearly, like no one gives a crap. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And also, like it's for last wishes of children. But apparently, Heather's been with this dude for like the longest time.
So how many last wishes does one get with this organization?
It's been well, that's the thing, right? So he obviously was a kid when this whole thing started out. Like, he was like, oh, my last wish is to go to a fun fair. And then he just kept not dying. And then like,
I mean, I guess that's awkward.
Yeah, exactly. And they're like, well, I guess we kind of have to keep giving you last wishes because you just don't die. And now that's why he's an adult now. That's why he looks, 29, 30.
I think there should be some sort of 3 strike system. Like, I don't know how it works. I think the Make-A-Wish Foundation does really beautiful work, so I don't want to
and there's Simone. She's the auditor for Make-A-Wish Foundation. She's like, 3 strikes, guys. Come on. Just the actual
Someone's got to do it, okay?
Yeah.
Someone's got to tell the sick kids, no, it's gonna be me.
Yeah. It's called the Last Wish Foundation, not the Last Wishes Foundation. I think you'll find.
You got your wish, kid.
You're going around to their houses like 6 months after they've died just to verify that they have indeed died. Just like really reopening those wounds.
It's like, you got your wish. The rest is up to you. Die or don't. Like, it's not my problem. I would never.
That would be so funny. You're just like the sick of seeing The Rock because every kid is like asking for The Rock, and you're just like, fucking Dwayne again.
Hi, Dwayne. Yeah, no, I've tried your tequila before. I'm working, so yep.
I love that for you. And in my head, Dwayne The Rock Johnson is just constantly trying to like hit on you, even though he's like married and got 2 kids.
Just trying to impress me in any way.
Constantly trying to get you on his side, and you're just not having any of it. You're just so done with this guy.
like treating him like some fucking nerd.
Yeah.
Like,
you just-
wow, yeah, your
Wow.
gym is really cool, Dwayne.
Nice. I like what you've done with your tattoo. I see that you replaced the old one. Okay. Yeah, still bulls. That really relates to your name, The Rock. Yep.
Good for you.
Nice. Oh, goodness me.
Oh, is this your little house?
Your little house. I love that. I love that.
A very quick side note, we can cut
Yes.
this up. I saw some dude on TikTok was talking about like ways to upset men. And one of them was going to a guy and saying like, hey, or going to like a really buff guy and going, hey, could one of your friends recommend a good gym to go to?
Yes. I love that. I love that so much. That's so good. Oh, I love it when you do things like that. It's just so funny. It's like going to someone who's been to Harvard and being like, "Oh, is that in Boston? Is that like where is that?"
I haven't. Is it a nice
Harmon.
school? I don't.
Oh, did you go to Harmon College? Oh, I've heard of Harmon College. I don't know what you're talking about. So funny. So brilliant.
I don't know it. I don't.
Sorry. Okay. Well, I'm sure you got a good liberal arts degree there, I'm sure. Not to shit on anyone with liberal arts degrees, like, you know.
Education is so important for everybody.
So back to this movie, talking about an education. I mean, like, what more could you say? It's just like all over the place. What really bugged me as well is it's not short. It's not filmed in 24 frames per second, which is like sort of the industry standard for these films. So it's just like really unsettling to watch. It felt like a handheld thing. It was awful.
I'm not gonna lie. I was on Instagram for a large portion of this movie because my sanity, I just couldn't give it my full attention. I simply could not.
No, you shouldn't. You shouldn't give it your full attention. That's a waste of an hour and 12 minutes of your life.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. So I guess, I mean, we got to move on. There's not much to say about it. So what is your golden nugget if you have one?
You know, as terrible as the puppets were, the puppetry was pretty creative, I guess. Someone came up with that. They were like, what's a bad creature design? And they were like, here you go. So that was, you know, that was kind of fun. That was a fun, like, little bit of the industry poking at themselves, a bit meta.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. I like your straws that you're grasping at. That's good. It's you're absolutely right. Yeah. You know, someone did put a lot of, you know, there's that like big machine thing at the end, which the cookie gets into. That's pretty cool.
Thing.
Yeah.
Something. It was called something like that.
It was ridiculous in itself, but yeah, like that was pretty cool. I appreciated the mechanics of that. That was nice. Yeah, I think for me, I know you hated it, but the golden nugget for me is that rhyming at the beginning, man. I have never known a sequel to have to go through the whole of the first movie again in rhyme.
Excruciating detail.
Yes, and showing flashbacks of the first movie. It was perfect in every way. And I was just like, wow, I'm so glad that I watched the first one and didn't just watch this recap. And
in some ways, I love the humility of it. They're like, hey, you probably don't remember this movie. It was not very memorable. Here's what you need to know.
Exactly. I think that was probably the most Christmassy thing about this second film, at least, was that fact. You know, rhyming is always very Christmassy in my mind.
Poets will be thrilled to know.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I always think, like, you know, Shakespeare plays are set at Christmas time. Like, all of his work is Christmas works.
Yeah, Macbeth famously took place over Christmas.
I mean, it's in Scotland. It's cold. Obviously, it's Christmas.
It's basically the original A Castle for Christmas.
Exactly. Oh, that's cute, actually, thinking about it. That's actually quite lovely. You know, like Macduff and Malcolm have this like weird romance, you know, then they slay Macbeth and then like Malcolm's king. And it's like really cute because now Macduff's family's all been murdered. So he's going to come and live with Malcolm. And it's just like, oh, they're gay together now.
I love it. It's cute. Actually, that leads me very neatly into what I want to do next week, Chad.
Yes. Okay.
So I'm just gonna
Cool.
skip.
Tell me.
We would not recommend this.
No,
Don't watch
not
it,
even a
for the
chance.
love of
No.
God.
No. If you really, really want to watch something, watch the first one. But even that, don't do it. Just
I thought we could do queer Christmas movies.
Queer Christmas. I like it. That's very cool.
So there was last year, Happiest Season came out.
Yes, we wanted. Well, you've seen it and you said it was brilliant. So
I have
yes,
mixed
I am keen.
feelings about it.
Oh, okay. What's it called again? Happiest Season, isn't it?
I think it's called Happiest Season. And then a new one came out this year on Netflix. I think it's called Single All the Way.
Yes, I saw that. I've seen adverts for that.
So I thought we could, last year we threw it back to Hanukkah. Now we're throwing it to the queers.
Yeah. Let's get all LGBTQ plus in this house.
Yes,
I like it.
Incredibly heteronormative people trying to break it down.
Let's do it. Let's get up with this. I like it. I like to well, it's also told through a heteronormative lens. I'm sure like no gay people had anything to do with either of these movies, apart from like Dan Levy.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. I like I said, I've got very mixed feelings about Happiest Season, and I haven't watched Single all the way.
Okay.
I don't know how to feel.
I'm excited for this. It will be the final Christmas episode of this year, and I'm glad how we're ending on it. It's been a weird Christmas, but I'm very happy about it. Yeah. Maybe we should also just, if we have time, no pressure. I just feel like we have a sort of a reputation to uphold, and we should watch the Princess Switch 3.
Yes. You know what? Let's chat about it in our mini-sode next week. We can do a whole episode on Princess Switch 3.
I think that's a great idea. Just like the mini-sode next week will be Princess Switch 3. I think that's a great idea. Yes.
I'm happy with that.
Fantastic. Excellent. Well, guys, thank you. Oh, sorry, Simone. What is your gratitude for this week? I almost forgot.
My gratitude for this week is my isolation self-quarantine mate, Rudy, without whom I would have gone completely insane being stuck inside. It was only for a weekend, but it's the fact that you're stuck inside and no one else is.
Yeah. It feels really shitty. It's like, when you were a kid and you were grounded, and then, I mean, you obviously don't know that because you were never grounded because you're perfect. But but yeah, you're absolutely right. And it's just like you're staring out the window forlornly.
I just wanted to go for a run, and even then I was like, but what if I breathe on someone? I don't know if I'm carrying. So just grateful for him for keeping me sane.
That's very
What is your gratitude?
Also COVID related. So this week, my girlfriend unfortunately contracted COVID. Luckily, she's been double jabbed, so she's fine. But that is exactly what I'm grateful for. At the beginning of this pandemic, people were literally dying, and people have died from this like time and again. And I'm just really unbelievably grateful that we came up with a vaccine and that my girlfriend is safe. She's not going to die from this. And that's huge. That is because it was a death sentence without a question. And I'm so unbelievably grateful for the hardworking medical staff, for the wonderful South African virologists who helped, who are now sort of being, vilified for the Omicron, but we're not going to get into that.
We're not going to get into it.
We're not going to get into it. But I'm really grateful and I'm really thankful for everyone who has done their part in sort of bringing that around, because my girlfriend is still alive because of it, and that's huge. That's
totally fair. And guys, like, if you haven't gotten vaccinated yet, like, I would really encourage you to do that. All of the stats that we have so far show that it vastly reduces symptoms, it vastly reduces death rates. Like, give yourself and your family like the best possible chance of surviving this pandemic. Keep out of hospitals. Hospitals are so clogged up right now with mostly unvaccinated people. Like, just do right by your community.
Look, so like some people have experienced some side effects, but honestly they last not more than a week, and it's much more tolerable than actually getting COVID, and it's much safer for those around you, like Simone says. And if you have had your vaccines and you can get a booster shot if your country is allowing it, that is sort of the newest guidance that's come out, just saying with Omicron coming out, everyone is saying sort of, get that booster if you can. And yeah, hopefully we can all just get through this, guys. We won't have more variants if everyone gets fucking vaccinated. Like, it's not a hard science. Just saying. Yeah. Well, on that note, guys, thank you so much for listening. We really, really do appreciate it. We love you very, very, very much. Let us know what movies you're watching this Christmas. Let us know what you think of the whole sort of creature feature horror films, whether you're a big fan. What a good creature feature horror films that might change our mind. But probably not.
Yeah, I'd love to know what you like about it.
Yeah, exactly. So you can do that. And where can they do that, Simone?
They can talk to us on Facebook or Instagram at Fresh Tomatoes Podcast, on Twitter at Fresh Tomatoes MP, and they can email us at freshtomatoespodcast@gmail.com.
There you have it. And as we say at the end of every episode, we love you and there's nothing you can do about it.
We love you and there's nothing you can do about it.
Goodbye.
Bye.